It's apparently Fashion Week in comics, and that will bring us to the last call for the week of March 14th, 2015. It is Fashion Week because everybody in DC Comics is apparently getting a new costume. We saw the reveal of a new costume for Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, The Flash, Green Arrow, Green Lantern, and I think that's it for now. Wonder Woman's new costume is an interesting one. They're going back to the pants design, but this has a more warrior look to it, which is actually pretty badass. Not necessarily a fan of the dual blades coming out of her hand. That just seems like a gimmick. Especially being that it's Wonder Woman, I don't necessarily think she needs hidden blades to fight well. And I think they should shorten the gauntlets on that. Superman's new costume is Superboy with a buzz cut. It does not look that great. I'm curious to see the story around it, but Batman has a bunny mecha suit, I guess. I don't necessarily know why. According to them, it's not Bruce Wayne. Green Arrow, I don't really know what's the difference. I guess he's wearing a hoodie instead of the little hat, and I guess it's to bring it more in line with his costume on Arrow. I really don't know. Same thing with the Flash. His costume looks pretty much the same, maybe higher boots. Green Lantern, for some reason, sporting like a hobo look. He's got the long hair, and he basically looks like Oliver Queen from Arrow on the island in the first episode. So again, curious to see what that is. Aside from new comic book costumes, Marvel announced X-Men 92, which I assume, much like Batman 66 and Wonder Woman 77, is a standalone continuity that features characters from popular media, and it will be interesting to kind of go back to that. I don't necessarily know if people are camera. I mean, X-Men 92 is an interesting beast because it's representative of a specific genre or era in Marvel, and I don't think it stands out as far as well defined as something like Adam West or in the Carter's characters because those were live action and modeling after them in that world. It's a bit different than modeling after an animated series that was modeled after a comic book series anyhow. Keeping with the comic book news for the week, DC revealed a controversial cover to Batgirl 41 that depicted a, I don't know what you call it, a Batgirl and the Joker that harkens back to the Killing Joke, and fans were none too happy about that. Valiant Entertainment announced a nine-picture deal with a Chinese company. This will bring them into the cinematic arm race between Marvel and DC. I'm curious to see what happens because they do not have as many known brands, which could be good or bad for them. In a move that's kind of curious or weird, Marvel and Disney announced Star Wars The Journey to the Force Awakens, which is going to be their big expanded universe push before The Force Awakens comes out later this year. And this will include 20 books, not just comic books, but books and other media. And in addition to that, Disney also announced two new Star Wars films. The first is a Star Wars standalone film called Star Wars Rogue One, and this comes out in December of 2016. And then they announced Star Wars Episode 8, which I believe is due for May of 2017. So continue marking your calendars. With that news, Fox moved the Fantastic Four 2 from the last week of May to the first week of June as to not bump in with Star Wars Episode 8. Sony has revealed plans or talks of a male-centric Ghostbuster companion piece to their recently announced all-female Ghostbusters film, and I think this is a bad decision just because it kind of undermines the all-female Ghostbusters film they just announced. If anything, they should have waited until closer to release to talk about this one. We had new casting news for Daredevil and Lucifer pilot, which are going straight to production. We've had our first look at Kara in Supergirl, and I think the Supergirl disguise, the glasses and the hair pullback works a lot better than Clark's just because I think a female looks much different with the hairstyle and not just like slick back. We had, in other news, video game news, Uncharted 4 was pushed back from a vague 2015 release date to early 2016, and this leaves a huge gap in Sony's lineup for the rest of the year. We also had our first look at Project Ukulele, which is coming from a bunch of X-Ray developers, and this seems to be the first attempt that I can think of an actual connected universe with video games, where the first game would introduce a bunch of different characters, and those characters could potentially spin off to their own titles in various different genres. I'm interested to see how that all shakes out. I also think it's a bit cynical. The Walking Dead companion series has been picked up by AMC for 2 seasons. That's going to be interesting to see. It's set in California if anybody wants to talk about that. We got word of the three new characters who will be introduced in the Flash Arrow spinoff. We didn't get names, but we got vague descriptions of them, and it sounds like we may be getting a Booster Gold, a Static Shock, and a female warrior, which is kind of vague. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting mixture of some obscure DC characters. But you have this popularity built in, so it should be fun to see how they make that work if they get off the ground. We saw the opening credits for iZombie. I already mentioned this because I'm really excited that iZombie actually has opening credits. I think opening credits is a lost art. I've always been a huge fan of theme songs. Annoyingly so to some of my friends, but theme songs are awesome. Jason Voorhees will be making a short stop from Camp Crystal Lake to the realm of Mortal Kombat X. This is an interesting addition. I believe Mortal Kombat 9 had Freddy Krueger. Maybe they can get both going and have a crossover fighter that people probably have been craving. If you remember Core Kings of the Pirates for the 3DS, I think an initial launch title has finally been cancelled this past week after 4 years of not hearing about it, who people are probably surprised. Level 5 Vision is coming up in April. This will have your Care Watch 3, Fantasy Life 2, Latent 7, and many, many more. Rumors are spreading around the internet a hot fire that Chris Pine is up for Hal Jordan in the Green Lantern Justice League film. I think he would be a great casting choice if they went with Hal. He would also kind of be Captain Kirk from the recent Star Trek films in which he stars, so that will be something to watch out for, I guess. Word down the chute, and yes, this comes from the producer himself, Gendy Tasco. I'm gonna butcher his name. I apologize. But the guy behind Samurai Jack and Symbiotic Titan was recently working on a Popeye film for Sony. Word came out this week that he's no longer working on that because the new Sony animated department head sees things differently. My hope is there was rumors of them trying to get him for the Super Mario movie. Is that comes to fruition? I think he would be amazing for that, and I really do think it's time we get a fantastically great Mario film. And finally, with a fun bit of news, Earl Sinclair from Dinosaurs has taken the internet by storm this past week as he sings Biggie's Hypnotized. So if you can, check that video out on YouTube. And this has been the last call for the week of March 14th, 2015. Drink up. Biggie, 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 can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me.